Tools, tiles, plumbing supplies, building essentials, and so much more. August 28th and 29th, 2 days of mega savings. And remember, Builders Paradise everyday low prices get even lower on Fat Days Mega Save. Builders Paradise. Build more, spend less, save mega. Terms and conditions apply.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of A Thought That Get Results. I'm Webbo Herbert, and as per usual we are here every Tuesday evening with something that at least we think is of community interest and or of some concern. And if you think that you have something that fits into that category, you'd like to find out how you can be a part of the program, well, why don't you drop us a line? Address it to a Let's Talk program in K.O. Vaughan Radio, P.O. Box 195, Charlestown in Nevis, or you can give us a call. Our numbers are 1-869-469-1616 and or 1700. And by the way, those will be the numbers you'll use to be a part of this evening's discussion. Thank you again for joining us. This is your voice in the community, Thought That Get Results. With regard to your participation in the show, we encourage you to call in on the numbers listed 1-869-469-1616 and or 1700. Here's a suggestion. You have a question or a comment, perhaps you can get a pencil, piece of paper, write it down so that you're well organized and you're getting on the show. You take as little time as possible so that we can accommodate as many of you as we can. We ask only, first of all, you respect yourselves and then respect others, because we will not accept anything we deem that's not within our broadcast standards, but we encourage you to always be forceful with your point. You can also follow our video stream of this program on our Facebook page at Vaughan Radio and YouTube channel Vaughan Radio. Click subscribe. Thank you all again for joining us. Your voice in the community, Thought That Get Results. Tonight, Roger Fifield, good evening.
Good evening, Webbo, and of course I want to say special good evening to my fellow panelists. I want to say also good evening to all those who are listening and viewing via the various medium. Webbo, it's good to be here once again, and I just want to say a special birthday greeting to all those who are celebrating birthdays and those who are celebrating anniversaries. We hope that you are having a wonderful time, and if you had earlier in the week that you would have had a wonderful time. Well, for those who are sick and shut in and might be hospitalized, I want to say get well soon. We pray that everything would work out in the best possible way for you and your family. And to the families that are bereaved, we pray with you. We ask that God would give you that comfort, that rock, be that rock for you as you go through this most difficult time. But I want to say to those who are listening and viewing to, use this forum to call in, ask their various questions. They could add value, as always, to this wonderful program. We could learn something from you, and you can learn something from us. So hence, again, I'm asking that you call in, as it's an interactive program. Well, it's really a wonderful feeling to be back here this evening. Thanks again for the invitation.
Janet Meloni, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Herbert. Good evening, and to your wonderful, hard-working staff. Good evening, my fellow panelists, and of course, the listening audience. A pleasant good evening to you as well. And of course, Mr. Herbert, it's a pleasure to be here, and thanks for the invitation.
Conrad Nair Liebert, good evening.
Good evening, Webbo, and once again I say good evening to your hard-working staff here at the Powerhouse of the Eastern Caribbean. To my colleagues, good evening. I welcome Mr. Fifield back. Keep running away, but it's good to have you again, Mr. Fifield. Webbo, it's another evening where we indulge in the issues that affect the people here in Nevis and sometimes regionally. And of course, you know how much I like to be a part of that conversation, whether it's here at the mic of One Radio or on the street. I frequently ask people to call in and make their voice be heard. Of course, a lot of people are afraid to do that because we're living in a small community and everybody know their voice. And so people are restrained for that reason, it seems like. But never mind, we can rest assured that we have a very strong listening public here in Ireland and across the region, across the globe, really. It's amazing how so much people would say things about the show when they think along certain lines, usually politically, but yet they know everything about the show, and that points to the fact that they always listen to the show. And that's quite encouraging, even when you get the negatives. It's quite encouraging as well. I've been here for a while, and I can take the licks, the ups and downs, and the tough times when it comes towards me as it relates to my point of view. I will continue to express what I think is correct, what I think is right. Always not trying to be impartial, but I would, of course, speak to what I think is right in every circumstance. Webbo, I'm happy to be here, and I look forward to a healthy discussion this evening, Webbo.
Good evening to Ted Hobson. Of course, for the folks who are new to the show, when I say new to the show the past few years, and they keep hearing me referring to Ted Hobson. Ted is one of the inaugural persons on the heavyweight show. Ted started it, was one of the starters at a time when it almost seemed as if to even say the word politics was left for a chosen few. I was just talking about being afraid and stuff like that, right? And, if certain people were to mention the name, we have an interesting society, and at least is what we got. So you had to get bold and courageous people. And so Ted was one of the forerunners. And of course, we know Ted, one of our illustrious lawyers, and he kept us out of the court. And when we went into the court, he always won. There's always some strategy, and it's by the same group of people to destroy us. And so it was always good to have Ted here. And so that is the reason why, one of the reasons why you hear me always mentioning Ted. He's still with us, and I inquired, and he's still doing well. The other one is Edric W. Stanley. You can hardly say Webbo without saying Edric W. Stanley. And I don't know, listen, sometimes people seem like they're serious. People meet me all the time and say, well, is Edric going to be on tonight? You need to bring back Edric. Right? And it is a testimony to the impact that Edric and company have made. Now, you must always be careful with me, Naya, as you know. Because you know when I'm saying something, I'm going somewhere else. So I'm down by where I would hang out now and then. I don't want to set a place because I find that sometimes you keep certain things sort of guarded. Now there's a certain place I would visit. You would know where it is. It's a place where your campaign manager hangs out. And I was there this week. And I was asked to do two things. One, I was asked to please have Miss Maloney back this week. That's done. The second thing I was told by your campaign manager was that you all may make a comeback. So I was asked to say that. So,
Okay.
two things. Two things are done.
Great.
Right. Now, what we got? And by the way, at that little gathering, we were reminded of your campaign slogan.
Yes. We're still very much alive.
You remember what it was?
Now for good God.
Oh boy, you and your manager or something else. And the reason why they said that is the other persons in the discussion were suggesting to me that you all may be doing a comeback. We don't know, but sometimes we just find out things here.
But that is good to hear.
Oh, okay.
And that is very good to hear. That is definitely unknown to me.
So, well, who knows?
There are things going on.
Okay. All right, so what we got?
Webbo, what I have is something that's it's not going away. Why is not going away? Because it's a monthly occurrence. And I think the people are really, I use the word suffering, because of every month they are dealing with a higher electricity bill. And that to me, I've been hearing it, I've seen it, I've almost seen tears coming down the cheeks of many people dealing with this situation. And I personally have been searching my mind and wondering really what can be done, you know. It's not like the bill have increased and we are experiencing a constant. It is increasing every month over the last 3 months. And we are going through a very hot period here on Nevis, maybe throughout the Caribbean, maybe throughout the globe. And a lot of people are considering AC, you know, putting in AC. May have some pressure people telling me they don't want AC, some of my tenants. And in the light of that, and I know the government had some, you know, some arrangement with the customs. Was it duty free or some compromise on the duty for air conditions? Is it air conditions? Yeah. And but now the people are backed up by the fact that the electric bill is so exorbitant. It's so much unsettling, it's constantly increasing, and I wonder what's going to happen with this, because it looks to me like if Nivlec decide, and I hope they don't, Nivlec is a good company and good people work at Nivlec. I hope they don't decide to start to disconnect electricity based on people not paying off their bill or unable to pay their bill at this point, because it would be devastating for many, knowing that the kids are going back to school in a few weeks, and of course we are very electrically orientated by the things we use for our education system. We read the phone, the tablets, the laptop, and all these type of things. So it would impact tremendously on the students going back to school. It's definitely will impact, not just because of our means, our method of learning, but also the expenditure that the parents may have to deal with at this time of the year, but still have to take care of the electrical bill. I am wondering, I'm actually pleading to somebody, whether it's NIVLEC or the government, to be mindful of this situation, which is creating a serious concern in terms of people's settled minds. People are just suffering as a result of that. I know Nevis people is quite a quiet bunch, and that's okay. And they don't want to call in, they don't want to. But too often, I've been met in the street recently, and this is the issue. The parents are crying, and they just find it difficult to make ends meet because of the electric bill. I'm asking the government from this, from the microphone radio, as Mr. Stanley would say, to intervene in a positive way and to alleviate the situation, because it's not easy. It might be easy for some half-rich people or people who on the higher income bracket, whatever that may mean, but it's not easy for the masses. In a general sense, I think some consideration must be given, because, as I say, it's not a constant thing we're dealing with. Like, okay, every month your bill is $1,200. Next month it could be 14. The other month it can be 16. So there's no limit, and no one is going to come to the rescue and say, look, we may have to come back in and bear some discourse again, because we cannot have this thing constantly increasing. We hope that it will decrease. Maybe when the war is over, I don't know. Maybe it may never decrease. Maybe we are supposed to get accustomed to that level of expenditure as it relates to the electrical bill. But it is quite unsettling at this point, and it's doing a lot of harm to people, to business, to people's projection, financial projection. And it looks as if people have to make a decision whether to eat or pay their bills, or dress well or pay the bill, or it's quite a situation which I can't be quiet about, because it is a issue that is affecting the people.
Webbo, I would have said that it's something that maybe the people may get comfortable with. Was it that you said? Just want to make sure.
I said maybe we are expected,
right,
to get comfortable with that high electrical bill.
Well, I don't believe that persons, could, realistically get comfortable with the electrical bill. For the past 3 months, electric bill would have been on the rise, so to speak, and I believe that something ought to be done to help cushion, help soften, the impact on the consumer. When we really look at it, it's like a ripple effect, so to speak. The electricity bill goes up, the prices in the stores, the supermarket, the shop, for some reason seem to go up also. And who does it impact most is the consumer, the end consumer. And if we going to have that impact placed upon us, I really believe that something ought to happen. And bearing in mind and notwithstanding that we do not have any control on the price of oil on the world market. But something, budgeting time, I think that is coming up shortly. And I believe something probably could be put in the budget to help cushion us, because we need it. I really believe that that we need it. As you said, to be honest, we can't even really budget properly, because today it might be $10, next month it might be $15. So it's something that I believe that our government really need to look at, closer. I want to believe that they are looking at it, but it's something that they ought to look at closer and try to come up with, something that would help us.
And I agree with both of you.
Well, I understand. I spoke to some people in St. Kitts, and they seem not to have the same situation. I don't expect them to have the exact situation, but it looks to me like, well, down there it seems like some people only pay a bill once. I'm not expecting that, I don't know. It's like people in the countryside is different. And I think they have a different arrangement for businesses and everyday consumer. But whatever it is, I really think that you can't allow this to happen to your people. As a government, they should be fully activated when such signs and occurrences are taking place, because it's really debilitating to businesses, and it's almost like the people are exposed to something that they have no control over. And I think, as you use the correct word, some kind of cushioning need to take place. I don't expect a government going to sit aside and see the current bill constantly escalating every month going forward, and does nothing about it. I think it would be, part of good government practice to really, do something about it, and if you intend to do something about it, tell the people you intend to do something about it. Okay.
What I would say, though, what I would encourage persons to do in the interim, we have to try to help ourselves at the same time. And you would have spoke earlier to your tenants, wanting AC units to be installed. And of course, it is very hot, very humid, and we know that the AC, brings a level of comfort. And as a result, persons are gravitating towards AC. But at the same time, while gravitating towards AC, it have a direct impact on the electrical bill. It rise once it's been used. So I am saying that some of the things that we ought to do is to cut back. I believe that if you have an AC unit, you don't necessarily have to run it all night into the morning. If you probably run it in the night, if you are one who get up early, you get up early at 4 o'clock and you turn it off, and the room is going to maintain that cool temperature right until you are basically out of the house to go to work for 8. So these are things, maybe instead of allowing the AC to run all night and into maybe 7:30 when you probably leave your home to go work, you get up, you turn it off maybe at 4:30, 5 o'clock. It's going to maintain the temperature. I know that, and hence, I'm saying this because this might be able to help someone out there to, to cut back. Some of these chargers we have, we plug in our chargers, we plug in our phones, and we just leave the chargers in. We have to find ways of, cutting back, the electrical, the bulbs, You know, the lights, we don't have to have a bulb in every room. I know this may sound a little old-timeish, but maybe we need to probably get back, and this would bring back, you know, maybe how we socialize in our homes, and would probably have an effect on how we socialize outside of our homes. Meaning, you know, we can probably have a television in the front room, the living room, and we all look at the television program. We watch a movie together instead of maybe each person in a 5-bedroom house, you know, have on a television, everybody watching something. Maybe we could say, well, you know, from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock perhaps, to 9:30, even 10 o'clock, you know, this is the family hour, this is the family time that we are going to spend together. Maybe if it is not every night, maybe a Monday, a Wednesday, a Friday, or you plan out your time. And these are ways that we can, you know, cut back on our electricity bill, and at the same time we are building camaraderie, we are understanding each other in the home. And then when we go outside the home now, we'll be better able to relate to others, you know, because we would have learned that in the home how we relate to persons, even physical touch, you know, verbal communication. And let me just explain what I mean by physical touch. I think I would have said this on a program some time ago. You know, the physical touch I'm speaking about, for example, you're walking on the street, you bump into someone accidentally, you say sorry. And they even take it as an offense that you would have apologized to them. Now, when you are in the home, you know, because you may be tucked away in your bedroom by yourself, you don't see your brother, you don't see your sister, maybe until you all probably leaving for work or coming in, if you all come in together. Now, if you all are intermingling, going together back and forth, you know, maybe in the front room, in the kitchen or what have you, then you all might bump into each other. And when you bump into each other, you understand, but it is just a bump. It's an accidental bump. You say sorry. So you kind of appreciate that from the home level. And now that translates into the outer world, so to speak. And you understand and you be able to appreciate it and accept it more. So I believe that this electricity problem, if we want to use the term, you know, it could, I think, you know, bear certain benefits. Bring back this family time. Bring back this camaraderie.
Well, let me take this. Good evening. Thank you for holding.
Good evening. I'm here trying to understand why is it everybody, especially politicians, advising the populace on what to do to cut back on electricity, and they're not taking the advice for them to pay their bill. Maybe that will make it easier on the populace if the government pay the bill.
Pay whose bill? You mean government pay their bill to who?
Yeah, that they ought to neglect. Maybe if they help pay the bill, that it will be more easier on the populace. We wouldn't have to do so much a cutback if the government don't pay their share of the bill.
Okay,
instead of paying neglect $30 million and $70 million. I mean, maybe that would help if they start paying also.
Okay. Well, I think that's not a bad point. If that's true that the government owes such amount, I suppose the surcharge, maybe if they were in a better, financial condition with the company, the surcharge maybe would not have to be passed on. So it looks like a culmination of financial situation exists, and the people are, feeling the consequence of this, or dealing with the consequence of this. I suppose this conversation will lead to, or lead us back to that conversation we always have, almost one of the waste of time conversation about geothermal. I say that because we've been talking about this for so long, and we realize how strong is that need now? If according to the authorities, it would bring such relief to the people. But I understand in one newspaper that came out about a month and a half ago that Nevis geothermal is going to start drilling before Christmas. I've seen such talks for so long, and nothing seems to be materializing. But the truth is that the people are truly suffering from this electrical situation as it relates to the billing and so forth. I just wanted to make that point and have that conversation because it's one of the things that is seriously affecting the people at this point.
I totally agree, and I'm still hopeful that the administration, the Nevis Island administration, will do something to alleviate the pain of having to pay that neglect bill and not having enough money to buy food, medication, look after your children. It's serious, and I'm still hopeful that in due time or soon, not than later, that something will come through for our people. And while we are on that, I was sort of challenged to touch on a topic that is not, what must I say? It's kind of tricky, but it's something that is trending right now. It's a topic that is trending right now. And not to change up about the neglect bill, it's a serious, but this is also serious because it is touching people everywhere, and persons are probably looking for answers. And it is concerning the dismissal of Mario Philip from, his job at Gender Affairs. Somebody asked my take on it, and if I go on radio, if I would have been willing to address it. You have to be brave to address something like that. And we spoke earlier about courage, and so now I have to develop that courage to say my take on the matter. Like I said, I think this is a very tricky situation, and what concerns me almost as much as the dismissal itself is the way the discussion around it has unfolded. The reactions from both sides have at times been brutal. Some people believe Mario Philip was victimized because he entered politics. Others believe that he is playing politics with his dismissal and trying to turn it into an advantage for his campaign. And unfortunately, some of the conversations have moved beyond Mario himself and become increasingly heated, with people on both sides making very strong accusations about the motives and character of those involved. I understand that people feel strongly, but I don't think that we serve ourselves well when political disagreement turns into personal attacks. I don't think that is healthy for our democracy. We have to be able to disagree politically without destroying people's character. Mario has said on a Facebook post that he received a 3-page letter terminating his employment. He also said that people should not feel sorry for him, should not become angry or bitter, and should not disrespect or curse anyone on his behalf. He has asked people instead to pray. He has also made a very serious statement that no public servant or citizen should have to wonder whether their livelihood, dignity, or future depends upon political considerations. I think that principle is worth discussing. But if we are going to discuss political victimization, then we also have to be prepared to ask for evidence. The Honorable Premier has said that the dismissal was not political. He also said that there were allegations against Mr. Philip before he became before the political launch. And he has challenged Mr. Philip to make the termination letter public to people, so people can see the reasons for the dismissal. So now we have competing positions. And my concern is that too many people have already decided what happened without seeing the evidence. But we cannot have it both ways. We cannot say, trust us, he was victimized, while refusing to provide the information that would allow people to assess that claim. On the other hand, we cannot say, trust us, this was completely non-political, without being prepared to explain the process as far as the law and legitimate confidentiality allow. Personally, I believe that there is a strong argument for the termination letter to be made available to the public, subject to legitimate privacy and confidentiality considerations. Not because we want to embarrass anyone, not because we want to attack anyone, but because transparency can help to reduce speculation and end the confusion that we have brewing right now. If the letter shows that there were legitimate grounds for termination that predated his political involvement, then people can consider that. On the other hand, if the circumstances raise legitimate questions about whether politics played a role, then people can consider that as well. But without the information, we are left with people arguing from their political loyalties. And that is when things become dangerous. We start saying, if they fired him, why didn't they fire this other person? We start making accusations against other civil servants. We even start accusing ministers of hypocrisy. And we start also to attack Mario's character. And before long, the original issue get lost completely. I don't think that we should allow that to happen. An employment matter should be dealt with on its own facts. We should not assume that another person's employment situation is identical simply because we don't like the outcome. And we certainly should not attack people simply because we believe they belong to the other political side. NRP supporters have a responsibility to look at the evidence, even if the evidence doesn't support the narrative they want. CCM supporters have exactly that same responsibility. Nobody should be asking the public to believe something simply because it is politically convenient. And nobody should be using this situation as an excuse to tear down other people. Let us ask the difficult questions. Let us demand transparency where transparency is possible. Let us respect legitimate confidentiality where it is necessary. Let us look at the evidence and then let the people decide. Because political disagreement is healthy. Political debate is also healthy. But brutal personal attacks, character assassination, and speculation are not. At the end of the day, we have to remember that after the election, we still have to live together. So let's disagree without destroying each other. Let's demand accountability without abandoning fairness. And most importantly, let us put truth above political loyalty. And that is my take on the matter for now.
Okay, but just by way of information, Mrs. Maloney, you may not have been away, but I noticed that your presentation was prepared and you made references to certain sources. So just that you know going forward, that once you have those sources, and we know that you do, the station would need a copy as well,
Okay.
so that we don't, we're able to substantiate. And when I made the opening comment, you heard me say,
Yes, Ted Hapson.
right, and what happens, right? So you're preparing a document, you have a thing from what somebody said and what somebody wrote, we like, you know,
Okay.
right. So, who it is, Naya or
Right.
Roger? Roger.
Webbo, if I may say one or two things briefly on what Miss Maloney would have spoke to moments ago. Sometime I think late last week, the first time I saw anything relating to this matter, if memory serves me right, was on Facebook, I believe, and it was from Mr. Philip himself that said something similar to what Miss Maloney would have said, you know, in terms of pray for me, don't, this is my word, don't curse anyone and stuff like that. And I want to believe that if I am victimized and I am going to bring it to the public, I am the one who is bringing it to the public, then of course I must present the evidence. The evidence must be presented. I shouldn't be allowed to come to the public and say, hey, look, I am being victimized. Because in my opinion, if I am saying that I am being victimized and I'm telling the public that I am being victimized, I am asking the public, you know, to side with me. I am being wronged, so you must side with me. But how in good conscience would the public side with one when the person is not bringing forth the evidence to substantiate the claim? And so I would want to believe that if I were to come to the public and say, hey, you know, have some empathy with me, side with me, I'm being victimized. Well, John Public, here is the evidence. I am being victimized. See it here yourself. You go through it, you cipher through it, and you are educated enough to understand what is written in black and white. So this is where I have been wronged. And I believe that if that were to happen, I would want to believe that this whole thing would have, by now, would have been put to rest one way or the other. Whether the public, the majority of the persons in the public would side with Mr. Philip, or the majority of the persons in the public would side with the NIA. One way or the other, it would have been put to rest. I am saying, in my case, is he that his Facebook page, I read it from first. I don't know if it went out before, but I could only speak to where I get it from first. And I am saying, man, put the evidence out there. You have it. And then the question that we have to consider, because I have heard people say, well, the NIA, they wrote the letter, so they could put it out. I think that is utter nonsense. If I am going to write you a letter, the letter is for you and not for you and the public. Now, having received the letter, it is your letter. If you took it to the public in word, verbal, and you want to put it in the public domain so the public could side with you or empathize with you or whatever terminology you want to use, then it is up to you, the individual, to put it in the public domain. The onus should not be on the author, on the writer of the letter to put it in the public domain. The author or the writer would have done what he or she had to do, and he addressed it to you, that particular person. And that is how I view it.
I personally doesn't know much about the issue, so I really can't comment too much about it. I know the word victimization quite well, and I know the word evidence quite well also, and you know, I have not really dug into this matter in any deep way. But what I can say, I mean, the kind of person I am, it's like, and some may beat me up to say that nothing really has happened. Nothing really has happened as far as I check. A guy who wants to represent, you know, the people.
Now, let me get this. Good evening. Thank you for holding.
Good evening. My concern is with the electricity bill. I was disconnected a few months ago. My fault. What I'm asking is, the public is suggesting that the government subsidize our electricity, which I think they were doing for a lot of years. Okay. The situation is the war and the price of oil. I think we should ask ourselves, do we prefer to have reliable electricity and pay for it, or they have, what do you call it, when they cut some persons, load shedding. So we have to make up our mind sometime in life and face reality. We have a reliable electricity supply. So maybe we prefer to have electricity every other day or something like that, which would not be practical. Persons are saying the government give you tips on how to conserve electricity. Well, we have to adhere to them, because I find when we have something, when we are accustomed to something, sometimes we end up misusing it. So that's just my little take on the electricity situation.
Oh, okay. All right, Naya?
Yeah, I respect that. You know, it's a good way to think. Yeah, but back to the issue of the gentleman being service being terminated. That's not really too far out of anyone's expectations. Anyway, that such things might have happened. You know, reasons can be put forward that goes beyond the politics, and so it's a lot of things to really, you know, sift out. You know, for a member of the public to really conclude on what has happened and to really defend anything. You know, all I know that when you make such step to go into politics, discrimination can be forthcoming, termination can be forthcoming, things would change. You know, I'm not saying, you know, that the island administration was right to do this or do that, but to me it's not out of practice at all that something like that would happen. Now, you have a right, and you can go to the court and have a case about it if you are able to have standing in court.
Let me take this. Good evening. Thank you for holding.
Yeah, good evening. This question goes to Naya. And, Naya.
Hello.
Naya.
Yes. Good evening.
Yeah, I know that you're the advisor for NRP. Let me ask you a question. Why is Nevis apparently want to change the color from green to blue?
Why Nevis? What?
The school going over Bellevue. Nevis, what it means? Academy?
Oh, the academy.
Yeah. Why you want to change the color from green to blue? From blue to green?
Well,
I have to, because you like you the advisor for NRP. You say every time you company here, you say these people tell you this, these people tell you that. So I asking you.
Advisor for NRP. That's not true. If people are telling me this and people are telling me that, that doesn't make me the advisor for for
But you
NRP.
never. That's all.
How could I be an advisor and no one is implementing?
Because you all can come and you're saying this about the government. The next question I want to ask you, talk about the current bill.
Yes.
You make gates?
I do make gates.
Yes. So if you make two gates, right?
Yes.
And you make 4 gates, you're gonna charge the same money for the 2?
That sometimes don't happen. Sometimes
Eh?
it happens.
Sometimes it happens.
Yeah.
So you're saying about the current bill. So if people using more current, if people using more current, they have to pay for the current. So let me ask you a next question: which one you rather? The current, the neglect to they may have no current because they can't pay the bill, they can't pay them fuel. Which one you rather? Paying the bill or the current to cut off?
You know, you're putting 2 options towards
I'm
me.
asking you, which one you rather that Nevis don't have no current?
You know, caller, you're making some massive accusation here. Well, first, let me just deal with this blue and green thing that you say going on at the academy. This is the first time I'm hearing about this. I don't even know what's the current color of the uniform. I don't even know about the uniform supposed to, somebody wanted to change from blue to green. I truly don't know anything about that. Okay? Now, if I come here to speak on the impact of the electrical bill.
Yeah, like people asking you. You know who asking you is people from the green or the blue.
I don't know. I don't
You
know
know.
if they are
You want
green
to say
or
you
blue.
wanna-
I
you
don't,
know,
look,
I
you,
asking you,
caller.
Okay, why don't we do this?
Caller.
Why don't we? Caller, you ask Mr. Nair some questions. Let us give him a chance to answer, and then we come back to you. Do it that way. Nair, go ahead.
Look, I don't know anything about green and blue. People who meet me in the street and tell me about this. I have my personal experience. You know, I've seen.
Caller, let him
I've
finish.
seen people, you know, complaining to me. I never asked them if they are blue or green. You know, I talk to everybody. I really don't care about that. You seem to be totally engulfed in political tribalism. It looks like that is not my stance in life, to be quite honest with you. You know, and so I truly don't understand much of what you're talking about, to be honest with you.
Okay, caller, go ahead.
Okay, say the understand. You say the understand. I know. Now you know everybody in Nevis, and you know who is who. So you don't come on the radio and believe you could fool people.
Okay.
You understand? You know who is green, you know who is blue, or you know who is soft,
Okay.
you know who is whoever.
All right.
Okay, next question, Ms. Maloney. Maloney,
Yes.
I want to know what the symbol is. Is this soft?
Clock.
Eh?
I'm running as a independent. If I do, it's the clock.
And who's sponsoring you?
Who is sponsoring me? I have not have.
Who from Think is sponsoring you?
I have not had. Who from Sinkit is sponsoring me?
Yeah.
I am curious to know why you would assume in the first place that somebody from Sinkit is sponsoring me. I am going to answer you.
Hold on. Miss Maloney, hold on. Caller, go ahead and ask the question and let Miss Maloney give her a chance to answer. What is the question?
I asked Maloney what is the symbol and who in Sinkit is sponsoring she.
Okay, so let her answer. Go ahead, Miss Maloney.
You asked me what is my symbol, and at the same time you asked me if it's the SA. So your question was quite loaded, okay? And then you come and ask me who is sponsoring, and then you said Sinkit. So I do not trust your question in that I think you have ulterior motive. But then let me answer you. My symbol is the clock, and nobody from Sinkit is sponsoring me.
Okay. All right, caller.
I want to ask.
But you have asked about 10
I
or
want to
15.
ask,
Walk
hello?
with me.
Okay.
Right? Maybe you can call back in if you got some more questions. But we allowed you. You asked a lot of questions already, right?
I want to ask Naya next question.
Okay. Ask the question and then go ahead. Go ahead. Naya, go ahead, caller.
Naya.
Yes.
Naya.
Yes, sir.
I realize you have some little problems for the who running for the federal election.
You realize that?
Yes, yes.
So where did you get that realization from?
I know where you get this relation from. Right? I understand you want the fellow Devon Colonials to run, and some people choosing path. So who will run for the federal? You know everything what's going on.
I don't know. Who named Devon?
No, Devon.
Who's Devon?
Eh?
Okay. So you're asking Mr. Naya what?
Who gonna be running for the federal election coming up?
Okay, Naya.
I do not know Webbo. I don't know who he's talking about. I don't know who is Devon. I am just I'm lost.
You lost?
Yeah, as it relates to what he's asking me about.
Okay. All right, caller.
Okay.
All right.
So Naya said.
Okay. Yes.
Well, that's you know, I always ask people to call in, but I'm not sure if I did ask that one. But anyway, he called in, and he seems to be, you know, assuming a lot of things, you know, which seems to be all wrong from my point of view and my perception of, you know, of things. And I come here to speak about issues affecting the people. I speak about neglect. It affects everybody, whether you're blue or green and or in between, you know. Not really blaming anyone, asking for a compromise from those who probably can make a difference for the poor people. And that's what I'm on about, you know. I'm lost in most of the things that caller is talking about, you know. So get some more questions from your source, and call back in again. You know, maybe questions that really I can relate to be quite honest.
Yeah, Webbo, over the past maybe month or so, it's been very hot and humid here on island. And as I walk around the island, you know, I see a number of trees, especially banana trees, you know, laying down on the ground, look patch and stuff like that. And when I see this, and I would have heard on the radio that, you know, we are experiencing, you know, a drought of the magnitude that we have not seen in years, you know, I must say kudos, you know, to all those who are instrumental in keeping, you know, water in our pipes in the tap. Because I'm sure that, you know, there must have been some planning there, and of course after the planning, some execution in terms of the digging of the wells, the building or the construction of the catchment and stuff like that. And now we are in a position to have running water basically 24/7. So I just want to say kudos to the NIA and Minister Brand, because I'm sure that my colleagues here would agree with me that it is really hot, it is really dry. When we look at some of the farmers, you know, the farms, and we look how parched and how dry it is, you know.
Roger, let me just take this. Good evening, thank you for holding.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, this question is for Fifi. I hear he running in Gingerland for the federal for CCM. I wonder if that is true.
5 field.
Oh, that's a question for me.
Yeah, you're not still 5 field.
Oh,
There's still light moment.
Caller, I've been hearing a lot of things and things that I'm not aware of, so I do not know if I do not know what persons are saying, but I've been hearing all sorts of things about Raja Fifield. So I do not know where you get your source from, what is your source, but I have no knowledge of that, sir.
Yeah, I also heard that he's an advisor for CCM too.
Oh, you heard that too? Wow. Okay. Well, as I said, caller, I would have heard other things, and I don't know if persons get their source or what the source or how they come, or how they derive at whatever they come up with. I'm just as lost as probably you are.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
You're most welcome.
Go ahead, Roger. I interrupted you, so.
Yes, yes, I was speaking about the drought that is upon us, and how well the administration, would have planned for it, and how it is being executed in, a wonderful way. I would say I haven't heard anyone say that there has been water rationing, island wide. So I believe that we must compliment and say kudos and give, Jack his jacket, as the old saying goes. So I just want to basically say that and put it out, and to ask my colleagues if anyone would have realized how dry Naya, I believe, is older than us, and so he would have lived and seen more years than us. So I don't know if he might have seen, a year as dry as this one.
I have seen the past 2 years, previous 2 years. I don't think they were that dry, but the one before, to me, it was very dry.
Okay.
Well, yeah. I'm not sure if I'm older than you, but I've seen dry weather when I was a kid, and I remember seeing my neighbors literally had to tie up some cows so that they can stand. They couldn't stand on their feet.
Wow.
And literally fed them, while they're in their standing position, hoping that they would regain their strength and be able to stand on their own. Wow. I could remember Navisions had to go sink it to get cane taps, to bring back to Nevis to feed their animals. I think this is back in the 70s. I always wonder, I never had cars, but my dad make me go with these people who had cars. Of course, it was not an easy journey, and we go down to the sugarcane plantations, fields in Sinkits, when they're cutting cane, and we take the taps, the green part, and bring them back up on those sailing boats and so forth. I don't know, my dad just put me through a lot of stuff. Maybe he just wanted me to have such experience. But yes, those times was very dry, but not as hot, it seems like. I can't recall the heat, we are not getting rain, and we're getting a little bit, but the heat is what seems to be drying up all the water. You hear some little rain fall in the morning, you come out, but the place ain't look like rain was falling.
Do you think, Naya, that maybe the heat, is a direct linkage, so to speak, for as a result that the vegetation is not as it used to before? For example, on Pinnis Beach back in the day, we had so many palm trees, coconut palms, and elsewhere in New River, in Jackass Pasture, that's where they have the jack strip now, and all these shoreline basically were lined with coconut palms and other trees, fruit trees and stuff. And we are really not seeing, in my opinion, the amount of trees that we had in the 80s and in the 90s.
Well,
do you think that's maybe a contributing factor?
You don't believe in global warming?
No, I'm just asking.
You like Trump?
I'm just asking.
Look, global warming is a reality. It's not just happening here in the Caribbean. It's all over the world. Trump said he don't believe in such things. But anyway, I believe that because of the ozone layer,
The depletion.
it becomes depleted. As it becomes further depleted, we are experiencing heat. We are going through challenging times as it relates to the weather. Here and all over the globe. I mean, Europe is burning. France, Spain, and then places.
India.
And people in England can't bear the heat, and so I of course, when there's less vegetation, then we feel the heat more, I think, and as development take place here on island, you tend to replace the lush vegetation by concrete, and so yes, but I don't think that's a major contributor to what we're experiencing right now. And sometimes I wonder if it's really getting hotter. But I'm more to believe that it's seriously getting hotter. Sometimes I wonder if the people are just becoming more, to say there's so much information, of the more conscious of their surroundings and temperature and environment, and so now we think it's getting hotter, but it's truly it's much warmer than before in these days.
I had a conversation with someone today, and I said that the sun is really hot. And the person said, "No, the sun is not hot. The place is hot." So I suspect maybe it was the person was speaking to the humidity. The place is really humid and stuff like that. But whatever it is, man, it's really really hot.
I tell a lady today, she's complaining of what it is, and I said, well, the righteous people are not really feeling hot because this is judgment time, and I think that the heat is as a consequence of the sins sometimes that we tend to be,
punishment.
A bit of a punishment, I was just trying to be funny, really. But I want to go back a little bit, and I guess we all will agree that it's hot, and there's nothing we can do about it. We can go to the sea. A guy tell me today that there's going to be an earthquake. This place is too hot.
Wow.
I hope not. I hope we don't see no volcanic eruption. I mean, we are very much, prone to these type of stuff, And so let's hope for the best and pray that, such things doesn't happen on our little island. It's just too small for that, But I kind of want to go back to the Mario thing, because I believe that the courts exist to resolve many situations. And such situations, even like this, where a person feel like he was wrongfully dismissed from his job, and so forth. As I look at it, to me, from a personal point of view, these things happen. It will happen that you're into politics and somehow you're working for a government that you seems to be want to get rid of. It's only natural that you would face certain circumstances and so forth. We call it discrimination. We call it what we want, and so when you put your name on the ballot box, you have to be strong. Okay, so you have to have backbone. Okay. If you think you're being wrongfully filed and you go to court and you lose the case, you remain unemployed and you have to live. It is a test for you in the eyes of the public that you are a person worthy of representing people, and therefore you don't have to be spoon-fed. That is very important for me as an individual, and I like to see when people are not in power, even if they had served in office before, in government, that even when they're out, they get on with things, because it proves to me that you're resourceful, okay? And so, to me, it's unless he's been wrongfully dismissed, everything should be fine.
Naya, you would have said, if we had to roll back, that you don't know much. I'm paraphrasing about this particular situation or matter. And then moments ago you rolled back to it. But I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. But would you be willing, if you get to know more about this particular situation, to give an opinion on it?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah. I'm never afraid to give my opinion, you know.
Okay. And
of course.
okay, let's put let's just take away names. Let's take away the names. Okay, and we can probably speak a little in general. If I were to come and say that I am victimized, come to the public and said I'm victimized, and I got a letter, how much of a page is long? Would you, or do you believe that I am obligated to present that letter to the public, seeing that I am the one who brought this issue to the public, or in the public domain?
Well, yes. If you're seeking some comfort from the public, you know, why not? Show the public the letter. Okay, but even the contents of the letter could be questionable. See, and you see how deep that starts to get. You know, even the contents could be questionable. Whether what is written in the letter is correct, or it's just something to say, well, given reasons.
Okay. So if you think that the contents of the letter are not correct, then don't you think that that same letter should be brought in the public domain and you say, look, paragraph 1, line 2 says XYZ,
Yeah,
and that indeed is not correct. And
let me just take this. Good evening. Thank you for holding.
Yeah. Good evening. Let me ask Naya a question. Naya, if you have 5 people working for you, and you do, steel, you build gates, you build different things. You have 5 people working for you, and 5 people telling your customer must go by somebody else to buy them gate, whatever you're making. What you will do? Naya.
Oh, I'll encourage him to go by the other people. Them go look at work. I'll ask him to leave. I'll terminate his employment. So.
Okay, who did I?
Continue.
yeah,
5 feet.
yes. So I was just basically asking Naya, if I believe that I'm being wronged, and I brought it to the public domain, I would provide the letter. And as you said, the letter may just have reasons and not what happened in actuality. So I am saying the onus would still be on me to say, well, to refute this particular paragraph, these particular lines in that particular paragraph. So I am saying that bring the letter to the public, say in paragraph 2, paragraph 10, whatever paragraph it is, line whatever, state such and such, and categorically clear this never happens.
And how the public will know that it never happens?
But this is what I am saying, Naya. This is what I am saying, Naya. Right? You bring it to the public. Right?
Yeah.
So if I know that somebody's misrepresenting me, and they have it on paper, and I was the one who put it in the public domain, that means I am asking the public to be the judge and the jury.
Yes.
Because I didn't carry it to the court of law. And that's another avenue. But I didn't. I brought it to the public. So the public now is the judge and jury.
Yeah.
So now I have to explain to the public. So the public could side with me.
Yes. Yes.
Won't you agree?
Yes, yes, that would have been, yes. You want the public on your side, so you give an explanation. One would hope that the explanation you give is correct.
But then at the same time, you must present the hard evidence. The evidence is the letter that was received.
Yes.
So present the letter.
Present the letter, yes. But I going back to the fact, but the contents of the letters can be questionable as well. You know, and that's why, you know, you would even go to the court and still not satisfied with the outcome of the case, you know, because you remember, case sometimes are won by the performance of the lawyer. On that
Reasoning rather than
day,
justice.
you know, and so and that's why I cannot get too emotional about this, to be quite honest, you know, and I cannot come down on one side or the other on this particular matter. To me, these things are not really distant as it relates to getting involved in politics and working for government, you know. It's some people may have it as a massive issue that someone get fired, and there are reasons, and to understand the reasons is to maybe you have to do all kind of research, you know, and to question these reasons, you know, because you can't take word of mouth if you really want to
So if you can't take,
if you really want to be conclusive and impartial sometimes.
so
You know?
I'm hearing you now. So if you can't take word of mouth, what is the next best alternative? Paper.
Okay, let me take this. Good evening. Thank you for holding.
Good evening, Webbo. Good evening to the gentleman in the studio and the lady in the studio.
Good evening.
Good evening to the listening public. I'd like to ask Mr. Faisal a question.
Sure.
Yeah, Mr. Faisal,
Yes, sir.
I don't know that you need to burn up all that fuel.
Can you speak a little louder, Carla, please?
I said I don't know that you need to be burning up that much fuel, especially since fuel is so expensive, to decide who should bring this thing to the public. Would you agree with me that we need to hold our leaders accountable? This is a way they are running our country. We give them a job to run the country. Do you agree with me that they should be accountable to the general public for the way they run the country?
Yes, I believe that leaders should be held accountable, and I also believe too that in terms of politics, you know, and the whole election cycle, if the masses are not pleased, then they ought to exercise, you know, the franchise on that particular, when that particular given day is has arrived, and then do what they have to do. That's a way, you know, of telling, you know, our leaders, political leaders, that they are not, you know, doing what they are to do and need to do. So I agree with you and on that.
Yeah, well, Mr. Faisal,
Yes.
I'm gonna give you full marks on it because you answered the question and you answered the question, and then you're well on your way to becoming a politician, because all that you said after that was really not necessary. I just needed to know is that if we should hold our leaders, if our leaders shouldn't be accountable to us. Thank you.
Carla.
Okay.
The caller gone.
Hello? The caller is gone. Go ahead.
Yeah. Webbo, I just wanted to ask the caller asked me a question, and I really tried my utmost, you know, to answer the caller the very best way that I could. I didn't realize that the caller wanted me to answer how he wanted me to answer. So if that's what you wanted, caller, I must apologize.
So it's I really think that we're making a pile of sand a mountain on the Maria's case. Honestly, I personally think so. I could be wrong, and you know, these things to me will happen, and there's the court of law to really sort that out. You know.
So, Naya, you are saying that this was expected, that if you are working for government and you decide to run he works for the NIA and then he decides to run for the federal government, that you expect that that person should or would be fired? That
Not should.
But would be fired?
Can be fired.
Why?
Because we're dealing with a political culture, and we know it quite well. I'm not saying you know it's a right thing to do or wrong thing to do, but I expect, he can be fired.
By way of information, is the panel aware that that same thing has been tested in the court?
Yes.
Okay, and the panel is aware what the results were.
But and that's why I say
Nelson Nutter.
That's what the court is for, you know. And there are obviously surrounding circumstances. There are other information that came out in court, you know, and the court decides on it, you know, based on surrounding circumstances.
And Naya, as Webbo just maybe refresh our memory.
Before you go to that point, Fife, let me take this, please. Good evening. Thank you for holding.
Good evening.
Could you go ahead,
Good
please?
evening.
Could you go ahead?
I'm asking Miss Nesbitt Maloney a question. Is she a civil servant? I think she said should be running as a private candidate. And then what motivated her to make that choice?
Yes, I'm a civil servant, and what motivated me to want to run as an independent candidate is my love for country, and they say perfect love casts out fear, and I just want to serve the people of Nevis. I think that I have the competence and sincere care and compassion to make a difference in our people's life, and that's why I was led to make that decision, strictly out of love for my country and my fellow men.
Caller, you there? Okay, the caller is gone. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, and so you go to the court to sort that out. You know, I'm not saying he's wrong. They are wrong to terminate his or you know, but in our political culture, and all of us can agree and admit that if you run for the opposition party, you will be in some way, or it's quite likely that your service would be terminated.
But in this case,
it's quite likely.
In this case,
you can go to the case the courts and win. You know.
I don't know what to say about this case. It's kind of different because we have two sides to the story. Where one is saying it was, from what I would have gathered, I don't know for sure if the young man would have come out and say he was victimized. He did say nobody must feel sorry for him and to curse or any such thing, right? But then there's the other side that you hear that the dismissal was not political. In fact, you would have heard that there were allegations prior to him launching. So this is what made this story unique, and that is why we are saying that then if you receive a letter of that nature and persons are thinking it is political, then the evidence will clear up any misconception for both sides and for the people.
Miss Maloney, let me put what I'm saying this way. If there's a well and I have a bucket and I go to the well and I didn't say that I come to draw water, wouldn't you infer that I come to the well to draw water? let me make it a little clearer. What I'm basically saying, right? He didn't come out and he may not have.
Let's just hold on. Good evening. Thank you for holding.
Yeah, good evening. I'm here listening and wondering, why is this a talking point if the guy said that he don't need nobody to be sorry for him and just pray for him? Why you guys are not there praying for the guy instead of having a conversation about it? That's what the guy has to do, for you guys to pray for him. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Fifield.
Yes, Webbo, thanks. Yeah, I was saying that he may not have come out and said that he was victimized, but you have your senses, you can deduce certain things, and that is basically what he's saying, he's inferring.
Well, I know that there are other persons in the community that expressed that they think that he was victimized. And there are other persons who expressed that also that he was not.
But of course, persons, would have the right to think either way. And that is what I'm saying. And I'm saying that, if you have the evidence, present the evidence that you were victimized. That's all I'm saying.
For the public to sift through this is difficult because for the party which he's a part of, it will be convenient for them to say he's victimized.
Let me just take this, Naya. Good evening. Thank you for holding.
Yeah, this is for Mrs. Malone. Miss Maloney, you was working for the INA when Mr. Daniel was the premier?
No.
You was working when Van Sammy was the premier?
Yes.
So why you didn't choose to run?
Why I did not choose to run?
Yeah.
I was not ready at that time. I probably had other things that I wanted to deal with before I entered the political arena. So it was not personal as to who were the other time.
You wasn't planning to run when Mr. Parry was in?
I didn't plan to run when Mr. Parry was there because I wasn't ready as yet. But now I'm ready. I chose to run now.
You chose to run because Mark is the premier and the party and the other side in think it want to take out Mark.
So you're putting that to me as if what you're saying is true?
That's true.
Really? And you are willing and ready to prove that?
No,
because you're telling me
that's true. So that's why.
So where did you get that from? That truth from?
That's true. That's why you all gang up on this side. You all going to be running. Cause the person think it want to get out my sponsoring are you.
That's a lie from the pit of hell, and I can call you a liar because I don't know what you're talking about. You're just making up story and don't even know without concrete evidence. I am not into trying to get out anybody, okay? And I'm not teaming up with anybody to get out anybody. I just want to run because it has been a dream that I've had for 26 years.
Caller, let her answer.
I have had this dream for 26 years. I'm a Nivijan. I love my country. Has nothing to do with who is in or who is out, and nobody from St. Kitts. So you falsify.
Caller, I'm going to give you a chance to talk. Let her finish, and then I'll let you talk. Go ahead, Miss.
You are coming with some make-up story, and I think right now you're being rather mischievous. And what you're saying, your comments and statements are very misleading. And you want to dictate to me who I'm at and what I'm, and that is very much untrue of you, okay? So I think you should desist from making those statements because they are not true.
Go ahead.
Yeah, who's going to be running in 10? Mrs. Maloney.
Who is going to be running where?
In 10, in Gingerland.
Well, you seem to know everybody's business, so maybe you should answer that yourself.
Because you're on the same side, so you know everything.
I am on the same side, so I know everything.
Okay, all right. I think we got it, okay? Was it Fifield?
The point I was making is, it would be convenient to say that the gentleman was fired wrongly, from his party's point of view. And it will be convenient for the government to say it was not political. And so, what should we believe without knowing the facts of the situation? The contents of the letter could be questioned, you know. And I feel like I'm repeating myself.
Okay. Let me just give me a second. Good evening. Thank you for holding.
Hi. Good evening, Webbo, and good evening to your guests. Tonight seems to be the night for questions. Everybody have to answer questions. So Naya have to answer questions. Miss Maloney been answering her question. Well, I have a question because I'm a little curious, and this goes to Miss Maloney. Miss Maloney, if okay, so like we were to have election tomorrow morning, and you want a seat, what would be one of the very first things that you would do to turn this country around, to make the wrongs right, and to put this country in a better place? What would be the very first thing that you would do? I would hang up and I would listen to your answer.
Okay, I think about people empowerment, and as when I used to work as the director of community development, we started something where we have community council. I would want to assist in or encourage that those councils be developed in every community on the island of Nevis, because I believe that rather than using a top-down approach, that we must also include the people in the decision making as to what is happening in this country, and to put those councils in place so that they can represent their community and bring forward the ideas and concern that they have for Nevis, and so we can be guided by that, like what the people are thinking, what do they want, and then choose to not only what we have in mind, but also go with what the people are, the priorities that they are putting forward. I think that is one of the things I will choose to do. And of course, I am still bent on, I think that it's time for Nevis to have a technical or vocational, whatever we want to call it, a technical college for adult education, where our people can be certified, especially in skill training. So those are the, well, I answered two, but the first one would have been that, to hear from the people and to be transparent, include them in decision making, and that is empowerment, because the country belongs to all of us, and they too must have a say in what is happening.
Those are very good intentions. The people should have a say in the decision-making process. That is democracy. It's under threat right now, not just here in Nevis, but all over the world, in America also. You know, these rich billionaires seems to feel like they're next to God with their money, and so they can actually change every circumstances to their advantage because of their money and the promise they can make, you know, with their money, and so we find that the people now become secondary in going forward. You know, I think Nevis is facing that type of stuff. We need government through consultation, is the word I once used once upon a time. We need transparency, but government through consultation, I feel like they really should set up, and that's exactly what you said, but I used to call them agencies in communities, to hear from the public, you know, and on issues, and also about their concerns, you know, even policies, they can help shape policies, and about their concerns, because I do feel one of the problems we are experiencing with this neglect thing here is because certain people have lost what could I say? They are not in touch with the public. You know, some people have gotten rich, and they feel like everybody could afford to pay their electricity bill, but everybody can't afford, man, you know, and so this sudden doubling of the electricity bill without any cushioning, to me, is a result of central authorities losing, you know, that losing touch with the people and their real circumstance, you know. And so that sound good, but most politicians don't sound good when they start anyway.
So you would have sounded good when you started. But now I want to get back to you. And you would have made a point saying that basically, you know, both sides would have, you know, or who to believe from both sides. The Premier had a press conference today where he spoke to the matter. And, you know, everybody, as you would have said, may not or would not believe, right? And you would have also said that there's another avenue, an option, and that is the courts, the way of the court. Now, I am saying if the young man is a part of a political party, I mean, to date, I don't know, I haven't heard that the political party has stand with him in terms of putting out a statement to solidify his position, you know, to as a party.
Okay.
I haven't seen that, I haven't heard that, I don't know if that has been done.
Okay.
So I don't know if you know that. But I am saying to you, Naya, when people feel aggrieved, there's the court system. So I do not know, maybe you should probably encourage him, as you are a man of the law, you know, to take that route.
I thought you were going to say that I'm an advisor.
I know you're a man of the law.
You know, much earlier. Well, it's there, and you wonder if it's worth it, really. You know.
Why not?
Yeah?
Why not?
Well, look, you know, I'm talking from being Naya. You get me? You know, I lift up my eyes unto the hill from whence cometh forth my breath. You know, I'm not into somebody have to. Marcus Garvey said, if you can't find no work, make work. You get me? Get up and get on.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for holding.
Yeah. Are you hearing me clearly?
Yes.
Yeah. Somebody took me for Naya. They just gave me a message. I am told that presently the netball complex, the cultural complex, the park is fully illuminated. So they are saying government asking us to, you know, conserve our electricity. They themselves need to live by example and have somebody turn off these lights on the playground and the parks when no one is using them. So we all have to work together, including the government, to try and help us to, you know, curb the cost of the electricity bill. I was told to give the message. Thank you.
The caller, could ask you a question?
Yes.
The message was, if I understand it correctly, that the government must get somebody to turn off the lights at the netball complex, etc., the sporting grounds. That we work with me, that we turn on.
No, they say, they even give an example of a building. Since it was built, government using it, and the lights just run all day, all night.
No. Walk with me.
And even the Christmas tree, I have a problem with
How
Christmas
come nobody
tree
wants
lighting.
me? Okay, go ahead.
The lights burn all the time, and I always fuss about it. We have to take responsibility, and they have to implement some. Some time ago, somebody spoke about, what you call it, like, you know, like these security lights. When you pass by them, they come on. So I don't know if they have a mechanism that when the field lights should be on for a certain amount of hours, and they automatically shut off. I'm just saying. But, well, I understand what you're trying to say. We turn them on, but
I don't know.
They have them there for our sporting facilities and enjoyment. So maybe we have to go the way of educating persons about conserving things. But the bottom line is when we have things But till we have things going good and we're accustomed to it, we tend to abuse it. Yeah, that's just my little take.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you. See, I've been doing this thing a while, and I've been engaging with people a while as well, even before I've been doing this thing. And as the lady just pointed out to me, she heard me. Because I was asking, this is for the panel, I was asking the question, if the person was suggesting that the government should get somebody to turn off the lights at the playing fields, etc., that we turn on. But the caller said, I heard you, but they just didn't want to address that. You see? Good evening, thank you for holding.
Good evening, Webbo.
Yes.
I just want to point out that I read this statement that the young gentleman put out. And I don't see anywhere in that statement where the guy is claiming victimization. And I think Mr. Fifield is trying to make the point. As the guy feels victimized, I don't see where the guy is saying that he's being victimized. It then leaves me to believe that Mr. Fifield has his agenda. And it's borne out when he came back and said he should take it to court. And the guy's not thinking anything along that line. So I think what Mr. Fifield needs to do is to give it a little more thought. Good evening.
Good evening. You see, I made an intervention earlier, and I was saying to my techie who's doing the technical operations, that normally what we do, well, you know, we're in this business, so we do things differently. And you, the panel would realize that what we would do, we would garner all the information, evidence that we have, and we will present it to the public, and then we'll have a discussion. When you just talking without the evidence and the information, it's like going someplace and you don't know where you're going. So it would have been good to have, you know, the requisite information, you know, if you can, or a trusted person to relay the content. With reference to that, I heard the Premier in his press conference speaking about it. Somebody had mentioned the panel that whatever information was on the Facebook page, which could have been extracted as well and stuff like that. So sometimes it's important. And what we just learned from the caller, people sometimes ignore the facts and the truth, but it stays within them. And sometimes they admit. You see, so I would encourage people, don't get lost in just all the talk and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, sometimes it takes a long time, but the truth will prevail. Good evening, thank you for holding. I'm very sorry. Go ahead, the panel. Who was it, Naya? Fifield?
Yes, Webbo. I don't know if the caller, he addressed me and he claimed that I have an agenda.
This caller seems to be back. Let me take them and come back to you. Good evening. Thank you for holding.
Good evening, Webber, and good evening to your panelists there, and good evening to
the
young lady there who says she can do an independent. I just want to ask the question, lady. How confident you feel going into an independent candidate? Because, you know, sometimes that the people in this small country, we don't take independent candidates serious. And I believe we were going on with government and all these things when we elect government. I believe that they should take independent candidates serious, because independent candidates could make a difference in doing things with the government, doing the right thing. So I just want to wish you all the best as a candidate running into the next election. Were you running into the federal election?
The federal, I'm targeting the federal, yes.
The federal, I just want to wish you all the best, man, because, you know, people, we in this small country, we don't take independent candidate, and we don't know what independent candidate we could get out of independent candidate. So I just want to wish you all the best. Wonderful program as usual. I want to wish Webbo, you have a good night, Naya, and you all who there have a wonderful night. May God bless and keep you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Fifield.
Yeah, Webbo, thanks. Yes, Webbo, the caller prior to this one, you know, he would have said that I possibly have an agenda.
I'm sorry, but let me take this. Good evening. Thank you for holding.
This for Mrs. Maloney. Which way are you going to be running? 9, 10, or 11? Mrs. Maloney.
11, hopefully.
11. That's the strongest sign.
That's my strongest.
That's the strongest sign in 11.
Because I live, I'm from Jessup, so I have lived in St. Thomas's Parish most of my life. So that's why I chose that.
Okay.
Yeah, number 11.
Just want to. So that's the boss tell you. You too.
You mean God?
The boss.
Well, who is the boss?
Eh?
Who are you talking about, the boss?
The boss from Thinking.
I don't know who is that person.
Okay.
Maybe you need to enlighten me some more. I don't know who you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fifield.
Yes, Webbo. Yes, so yes, the caller 2 callers ago, you know, said that I have an agenda, and I am really wondering, you know, what the caller is saying, you know, in terms of I have an agenda, or probably any one of us here in the studio, I dare say, you know, that, you know, to me is belittling us and on the panel. That is suggesting to me that we do not have a mind of our own, that we cannot think for ourselves, that we cannot give what I would say is a informed opinion.
Well, let me just make a light moment. If a person argues that you have an agenda or the panel have an agenda, so my question would be, and we're not supposed to have one?
I was coming to that.
Oh, okay. Well, let me take this. Good evening. Thank you for holding.
Yeah, good evening, Webbo. I was just wondering if you guys listened to the launch of Mario, because he was saying when NIA terminates him, the people are going to elect him. So I don't know if you guys heard that when they launched him.
I did. I listened to the speech afterwards, and I really wondered why he took that route, why he said that.
I heard words to that effect.
He said that because, you know, we're living in a political culture and such things seems to be the norm.
So let me ask a question now. Miss Maloney would have indicated here tonight that she's a civil servant. Miss Maloney, have you echoed those said sentiments publicly?
Yes.
No. Meaning when the NIA fire you, the people of number 11 would hire you.
No, I have not echoed those sentiments because I'm not anticipating that I will be fired. I see a fair government. I see democracy being, what must I say, articulated over. Look at my friend Roger here. Roger goes campaigning when the Premier is campaigning, and Roger also worked for, in a way, for the NIA. So in my opinion, the Premier going along with Roger and other persons who work for government is a demonstration that this is a democratic country, and I'm following the leader in doing so. So I'm quite comfortable and confident that there would not be anybody coming after me for such, after I would see that Roger can be so comfortable and other persons going along. So I trust that there will be fairness in everything. So I'm not anticipating anything. So there's no need for me to say something like that.
So
because I do have good hope and trust that the government will do what is fair and what is just.
Roger, I'm going to let you respond, but let me take this first. Good evening. Thank you for holding. Good evening. You're on the air.
Hey, good evening again, Webbo. A caller called not too long ago about lights being left on at sporting complex. Well, I've been walking through Bat Village a couple of days ago, and I see quite a few street lights been on during the day. So, maybe it would be a smart thing for Nevlex to just have someone drive through the different villages and look at those poles, those street lamps to see what is, lighting up during the day. Because I guess maybe the lamps, maybe they work with a photocell or some mechanism that turn it on a certain time of the evening and then turn it back off a certain time of the morning. So maybe some of them just not working. But I know there are two in Bat Village right now that's shining all day, all night. So Nevlec would probably need to take a look at that. And I'm sure there are other lights in other villages that are burning, day and night. I like I say, I'm a curious fellow. The young lady there. Again, back to a scenario if she were to win her seat, right? I know there's a lot of talk about the destiny situation, and some people for it, some people not for it. So, if you were to find yourself winning your seat, so what would you do about the destiny situation? Would you go along with it, or would you just squash it? That is my question. I'm just I have a curious mind.
First and foremost, I'm not privy to what the proposal entails, and that put me not in a position to make such a decision unless I know exactly what the document entails. Well, if whatever the proposal, and if it is good for the people, then I will go for it. But if it's not going to be good for Nevis, then I won't. But then I must have that information. I'll be privy to read that document, and then also thirdly, I would want to bring it to the people as well, so they too be a part of that decision making in what they would want to see happening in their country.
Okay, Roger, I promise to come back to you. Walk with me though. We don't have a lot of time left, so you respond to what she was saying, and then we can use up the time otherwise.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you very much, Webbo. Webbo, yes, I just wanted Ms. Maloney to be very clear by answering this question, because you would have alluded to me, and of course we were talking about Mr. Philip, and we know his affiliation is with the Nevis Reformation Party. Now, you would have said that you are running independent, so maybe for the benefit of the listeners, are you in alignment, or are you aligned with the Concerned Citizens Movement, the party in government? Are you aligned with them politically?
What do you mean if I am aligned with them politically?
Well, I guess I could answer that, but I want you to answer it. Okay, let me just give you the Nevis Reformation Party is not aligned with the Concerned Citizens Movement politically.
I am aligned with the administration.
No, I didn't ask you.
For government.
That's the NIA is different to the Concerned Citizens Movement.
CCM-led administration. I am aligned with that.
Okay. Okay.
I guess you're questioning whether or not she is likely to have that fear that she'll be fired. I think, Miss Maloney, if I'm not correct, you are a civil servant.
Yes.
And does Mr. Mario was a civil servant?
Any worker worked for the government.
Okay, but not a civil servant.
No.
Okay, and that's a big difference, right?
It's a difference in many ways. There are certain things that can happen. There are certain benefits that a civil servant could have that any worker don't have that privilege.
A civil servant is harder to be fired.
That would have to go to the public commission.
Okay. All right. Well, it's good that Miss Maloney have observed the democratic principles upon which our government system is based, you know, and of course I think she's trodden with less fear, and she's more entrenched being a civil servant, I would think, than Mr. Mario was, and that's what I said. I think we're making a big mountain out of a small pile of sand when it comes to Mario, because it looks to me like people claiming that he's been wrongly and discrimination and things like that, but he doesn't seem to be.
And then again, I'm not running against the NIA. I'm running a federal election.
So, but Nevis 11 is a federal seat, a federal constituency, and I would have always I would have heard Mario say Nevis 11, you know, against the NIA, so to speak, would have been Nevis 5, St. Thomas's. But Nevis, once you say Nevis 11, that is St. Thomas's and St. James's. So both of you actually are running in the same very constituency. So what's the difference?
What's the difference in terms of what?
No, you said that again, that you are not running against the NIA, meaning a local election, I assume.
No.
Right, exactly. So I am saying that he wasn't running in a local election either.
Right.
So can I deduce from this that you're saying that the Concerned Citizens Movement might have took whatever action they took because, you know, he would have been running against, using your words?
No, I'm not saying that, because you would have, like I would have said, Roger, there are two sides to the story right now. One, that person, I cannot say for sure that the young man said he was victimized, but other persons are saying it. But then we have heard from the Premier himself. You said there was a press conference today where the Premier would have expressed his side of the story, or the NIA side of the story. So the answer right now is in the document or the letter. Show the letter to the people and then let them decide.
Right. And I would have said again,
a part of the opposition party.
Nevis Reformation Party.
Are you part of the opposition party?
No.
I would have said again, you know, you can deduce certain things. If I am here sitting down and then I just start to fan, do I have to say that I'm hot for you to know that I'm hot? I don't necessarily have to say that I'm hot, but if I come here amongst you guys and I start to fan, that would suggest to me, should suggest to you, that I am hot. And that is what I'm saying.
Let's relieve the heat. This program repeats tomorrow at 10 o'clock, following the VON News Minute. Join the Honorable Mark Brantley tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock for On the Mark. Join Keith Scarborough on Thursday evening at 8 o'clock for Government at Work. A place where you can spend all of your evenings right here on the Eastern Caribbean Spa House. Thank you all again for joining us. This is your voice in the community, Thought That Get Results. You all have a wonderful evening.
The views and opinions expressed on the preceding program were solely those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of Nevis Broadcasting Company Limited or its advertiser.
Hey, builders, homeowners, contractors, listen up! When it comes to building smart and saving big, there's only one place to start. Builders Paradise. Everyday low prices. 20% off all day, every day. That's right. At Builders Paradise, you get everyday low prices. Not sometimes, not special days, but all day, every day. From doors and windows, paints and tiles, plumbing and electrical fixtures. Everything you need to build, upgrade, or renovate. So when you're building up and saving smart, start right from the very beginning. Builder's Paradise, 20% off all day, every day. Where you're shopping, Builder's Paradise. While you're saving, everyday low prices. Builder's Paradise, everyday low prices, 20% off all day, every day. Builder's Paradise, saving sweet all day, every day.